Good afternoon, social media family. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Cherie, but most folks on Instagram call me Ms.Naturallyreeree. Well, if you're having trouble just pronouncing my name, well, formally it should be Shari, but I say Cherie. But if you can't say that either, just call me Riri. Well, I'm a divorced mother of two young adult daughters, and I have done so much in my time, and I want to share my journey. As you've been following me on Instagram, people have been watching me just slowly about my wellness journey and how I've lost 32 pounds and experiencing and chronologically just detailing my workouts as well as how I'm feeling after the workout. Well, I wanted to do something a little different on today, and so I started to go into some fragrances. And let me just start off by saying, back when everyone else was buying the big name perfume brands, you know, I don't want to name them here on this channel, but I have always been a girl who thought outside the box, and this was no exception. I specifically wanted to get products that would cater to my ever-changing needs, as I am a woman over 40 years old and fabulous. So now I'm dibbling into some perfumes, and you would think, at this stage of your life, you want to do perfumes? Well, of course. I work from home, and when I'm out and about doing things and living life with my children as well as my grandchild that is coming into the world come October 25th, I like to smell good. So, and this particular company that I'm going to talk about today is the best of both worlds. It is a great smelling perfume, and it's a black owned business. And what better way to talk about it than on my channel on today. This company is called Gavin Luxe, and this is the name of the perfume that I purchased a few weeks ago. It's called Summer of 96, and it's so appropriately titled because this has a citrus, loud, it's not loud, but if you grew up in the 90s, you know back then we were all about being bold, being extra, just doing anything and everything, carefree, living life. Well, the summer of 96 was no different for me. That was the year I was not in graduate school, I was an undergrad student. And while I was an undergrad student, I was studying business management, and I was trying to get a job in the summer of 1996 and wasn't successful in picking up work because for one reason or another, times changed, people looked at some different things, and then I was no exception to the rule. Well, this fragrance reminded me of that summer in 1996 when I was going out trying to find a job just for the summer to make ends meet, so that way I'll be ready for school in the fall. I was attending school in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but every summer I made it a point to come home to Houston. And that year I had a hard time trying to find work, and because of my school schedules as well as the university program, it did not correlate with some of the jobs that I was being offered because of the time frames that was given. Most companies want you there from, I want to say from May until till August. But in my case, I was still working until, well, I wasn't working, but I didn't go back to school until September. So yeah, finding a job was a little bit difficult back then, but I managed to pull through and ended up finishing, going into my junior year in college. And eventually finishing school. So this fragrance is bold, it's citrusy, it's powerful, and it just reminds me of that summer of 1996 when I was just living carefree, just exploring different things about me, figuring out who I am as a young woman in college. So the notes for this particular fragrance is as follows. It's sugar apricots, pomegranates, clementines, cherry blossoms, pistachios, Rooibos tea, which I've never heard of before, Marzipan. Now, I've never heard of Marzipan, but if you know, I'm a foodie as well, and I know Marzipan is used in, like, I want to say French desserts. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's when you're baking sweets and treats and everything else. So when I heard of Marzipan, I was like, ooh, that is interesting. As well as golden honeycomb. Now there is another base note, which is Nougat, and it's Nougat. So looking up Nougat is also a note where, like I said, if you're in the cooking world or if you're a foodie like I am, and I'll talk about that on another day and time. But Nougat, that is actually, like, I want to say a nut. So this fragrance really surprised me, and I wanted to get a summer fragrance because it is hot and humid here in Houston, Texas. So with those notes being said, oh my God, let me just take a spray. Let me get it together. Oh my God, the clementines is like what I smell immediately on my nose, and the pomegranates, it's there as well as, and the sugar apricots. Those are the first three top notes of this fragrance, and it smells divine, like a fruit cocktail. Like if you've never tried apricots, and I remember as a little girl I tried apricots, and they were like, it's like a smaller version of I want to say a peach. No, a nectarine. It's like a cousin between the peach and the nectarine. But this fragrance, I all I smell is the first three notes. Now, give it some time on the dry down because the dry down makes a big difference. I smell the nut, and that's probably coming from the nugget itself, the nugget note, as well as the pistachios. So it gives like a toasted, nutty smell in the back end of the fragrance during the dry down, but it also brightens up the top notes. So you would think with the pistachios and the cherry blossoms, you would actually smell that. But with my nose, and I'm just speaking on me, this is my personal opinion, I don't smell the cherry blossoms. I smell the apricots. I smell the clementines. Yeah, that's all I smell. And this is so beautifully made. Yes, it is a powerful note. It is very forefront. If you're not careful, and against my body chemistry, when I did spray this on a couple of times, at the dry down, I could smell the nut note, which is definitely the pistachio and definitely the marzipan. Because like I said, if you're a foodie, you know marzipan is like an ingredient that people use like when you're baking, treats and sweets and everything else delicious to eat. So, yeah, I am thoroughly impressed. Now, this fragrance here was a summer reserve fragrance for this company. And what that means is that certain times of the year, this fragrance, as well as others, comes out during specific times of the year. And she sells only 50 bottles. Only 50 bottles. So, yeah, I just happen to be the second person. So, this was a treat for me. So, I thoroughly enjoyed the notes on this bottle. So, I was so impressed. Now, she does have some other fragrances on her website, as well as some candles um, and a little aromatherapy. So I enjoy the fragrances, but she's more of a wellness creator. She likes to get you on your self-love, self-care journey, which I'm a big proponent of because I'm always on my self-love, self-care journey. And this fragrance here, this smells amazing. And it is Gavin, GAVINLUXE. So hop onto her website, which is gavinluxe.com. You're going to see an array of fragrances that she has offered. And guess what? This is reasonably priced. And I know many influencers and many vloggers and bloggers is talking about finances. I am no exception to the rule. I get paid once a month. Yes, I get paid once a month. So if I see something that I like and it's within budget, oh, I'm going to get it. And this fragrance only costed me 50 bucks. 50 bucks. Now, who can't beat that? 50 bucks and you're supporting a black-owned business? Sign me up. So, I like to thank the owner. I did purchase this with my own coins. I did not get this free. I got this with my own coins. So, I earned this baby right here. This is a beautiful summer fragrance. It's not cloying on the skin, especially in the Texas heat. I live here in Texas, and if anybody knows, Texas heat is humid and it's hot in some parts of Texas, because other parts it's dry and hot. But I'm in the Houston area, so it is humid and hot. So this fragrance is very light, very airy. It's perfect, especially with the heat and, with all the humid air mixed in with the hot and the heat index. It played beautifully well, and it was not cloying on the skin. If you're not careful with certain fragrances, it can be cloying on the skin. Now, for the sillage, I got maybe a good 4.5, maybe 5 hours off of this fragrance. So what I did the couple times the first time I wore it, it lasted me like 5 hours, 4.5 to 5 hours, because it then became a skin scent on me, which was amazing. I loved it. I felt sexy. I felt beautiful and just freaking amazing when I had it on for that long. Now, when I wore it again another time, I ended up pairing it with another fragrance. So as I go into further in my journey, I'll talk about layering combos that I've kind of created off the whim. And like anybody else, I love enjoying reviews, fragrance reviews from the bigger name influencers, but I am just a young woman who wants to explore fragrances from these little known indie fragrance houses that are just minority owned. And I'm just so blessed and honored to just do this quick review of this fragrance. As I always like to say, be a blessing in your community. Y'all take care and have an amazing day. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.